Hey everyone, we're back in Stonehearth today, continuing work on Rhine Watch. We want to try to at least get started on the castle here within the next couple episodes, but in the meantime, we have all this green space. And I don't like leaving a bunch of green space kind of in between builds here, so we're going to be building kind of a manor home. And I want this L-shaped structure to be right here along the road, and we might use this for another large structure eventually. So today we're just going to be it's kind of like a large cottage manor homes. They're very modular in terms of total planning. So generally what happens is you have a family that slowly starts with like a small almost cottage-like house, and then over time, as they go through generation upon generation, they will either expand the home or they will move into a nicer kind of custom built structure. But I always felt like having one that looks like it was modularly kind of put together was something that was very appealing to me. So that's what we're going to be doing on this one here. So it's going to be kind of this large structure, something like this, and then even have an additional little jut out there, and then possibly over here as well. So you just want it to be like a kind of a compound. That's how I kind of see large family homes like this. So, you know, you're going to start with a standard home. Maybe they added a wing and then a final kind of like guest house or miscellaneous structure onto the side. So we're just going to go ahead and build up some walls here. And luckily, it's not an odd-shaped building by any means, so we can kind of use the custom wall tool, but maybe it might end up being faster to build custom walls. And maybe a little bit better. Jasper's meowing. He wants food, but it's okay, because I don't care if he meows in the video. I'll feed him after I'm done recording. And so, let's get started. I kind of want maybe a plaster wall on part of it, and then partial stone on another. That might be cool. Boy, Jasper is losing his goddamn mind. Good old cats. Always want something. Okay. So maybe this was kind of the first section here. So it might have started out as a house, you know, about this size, which is fairly comfortable. And then what they did was switch over to stone. Not quite yet. I need to select the floor first, just so I can change the color here. And then let's just say they switched to stone about there for this other section that was eventually added. Alright. And I hope to eventually kind of tie these two structures together a little bit in some sort of way. Maybe the general lives here or something like that, in the fact that he has a larger home. He also lives close to the barracks. Something like that. Now this wall here, a little weird, but double doors can kind of bridge the gap and create a little bit of a tunneling effect, if you think about it. And then the main entryway, I guess we can throw it right there or something. And then the other interiors might just be a simple door of some kind. Here we could actually easily put a staircase. Something light. We'll decrease the width to about a 3 wide here. And just kind of throw that up. The walls, interior wise, You can kind of keep it light. Just to kind of bridge the gap here. Say you want just a little bit of a division right there. And then maybe even right there as well. And you can just keep running doors through it, dividing up the building over time. Up here we need to grab some type of floor that'll fit. And this floor obviously is going to just encompass this final structure on this side. You know what, maybe we can run it all the way down here. I don't see why not. But I do want to leave that final little room here as a single story section, just to give us better height control there. And we need to extend the foundational elements. And we'll be even adding some light supports along the structure as well, just so it kind of looks like it can at least carry its weight a little bit, because I'm sure this is going to be a heavier kind of structure. As we slowly add the trim here. And we might even have a third floor element, just to give us that extra height. That makes it a little bit different than the row homes, because the row homes are 2-story, and we have plenty of them, so might as well make it a 3-story in an area, just to kind of sell that. Okay. Cool. That brings that up, and then we'll grab another staircase. I guess just kind of flip it around the other direction here. Let's decide which section needs to be a 3-story. I guess this middle one makes the most sense. And if we can find a spot to put a staircase, that would be great. I guess right there works just fine. We'll bring up the walls. Tell you what, this section here can remain that stone. And then everything else will switch over to plaster. And then that final level might end up being something else. I don't know yet. So we'll seal that off. We'll put a roof on that section here in a second. We can switch that interior to plaster. That's fine. And then, of course, it's not going to let us put this piece where I want it. Wow, what's it doing? It has like a bad habit of just not being the right material here. I had it for a second, I thought. There you go. All right. So that'll bring up the second story here. And you can leave, you know, sections with arches maybe, or something a little bit different. What I want to do is end up going back in with some slabs and carving in some wooden support elements onto it, so it looks that much better. Let us grab, oops, that's not what what I want. It's not what I want either. There we go. Let's grab that floor again. And drag this out for the final kind of height. Alright. Always have to make sure to walk this little bit around. And it looks like we're going to have to change how it seals as well. Not bad. A little annoying that this column didn't carry through. It looks like we're off somewhere, but I don't think that's a deal breaker by any means. All right, carry up these lines. And you can see it's definitely going to be a bit taller for sure. Okay, so we'll have probably a 45-degree angle roof right here, just coming off the side. A pitched roof, and then another pitched roof going this way with some window sills facing here. And then pretty much the opposite on there. That might look okay. Who knows? Let's grab some walls. And essentially just raise it all the way up to its maximum height now. And you definitely still just want to use the wall tool just because the wall tool is the only way to put windows on these things. Otherwise it just doesn't work. Little annoying. This can be called the red room maybe. And this, I think we might have doubled up on the thickness again. I'm gonna try and fit the camera in here. Okay. We'll color this door blue, and if it appears on the other side, we don't have to add another door. Well, good. We don't. It's nice. This one here, however, we're gonna just add that just so we can maybe divide the room in two here. It's a standard wooden door, I think. There you go. Plenty of rooms on this manor home. Now, you can even add juts and areas where these things kind of come out from the building, maybe for a balcony or other elements, which we can do. I think a balcony might be pretty cool to do. So we will just grab one of these elements here, maybe something like that. And now we can just start working on that wooden trim. I'm gonna go with the red wood here. And hopefully that'll make it just look a little bit more expensive, regal of some kind. And I'm even gonna increase the length of the wood there just so it extends one farther than the platform. I think that always looks nice. And then we can bring up the corner pieces here, the supports. And you can even, I guess, do this and bulk up those side beams. For one reason or another. And maybe possibly put some diagonals in here. Just for added effect. You know, I really am a big fan of just like saying every building is kind of a work in progress, in the sense that I'm learning what looks good and what does not look good every time I build a structure. And it really informs your decisions down the line. And you can use those, you know, everything's just kind of a learning experience when it comes to this stuff. I could even throw in some back end supports that don't go all the way down, go down enough. And you can have a little overhang if you want on this section. I don't know if I really want to do that or not, but we can add a door at least. So the door we can use, well, let's just use that. That'll look okay. In fact, we're going to go ahead and place the windows on this structure. And we're going to be using these fine wooden windows. As I feel like they're probably the most suited for such a structure. Quite an odd count of a building we have constructed here. I don't quite know how to handle it. Okay. That looks alright. That's just looking at the side of the steps, so we don't really need a window there. Could put one there just fine. Okay. And then when we add the wooden supports up along the side of the walls, if you guys have been watching, say, like our Planet Coaster, it might start looking a little bit like that in terms of total aesthetics. Here we'll just add some railings, I guess. We'll just build our own. Nothing too ridiculous, I don't think. Okay. Let's go ahead. We're already about like 20 minutes in or so, so I might end up doing about a little bit of a speed build section here, just so it is progressed along on this episode a lot quicker than me doing the constant talking and thinking while building, because that tends to slow down the process in my opinion. So we're just going to go ahead, speed build through the rest of this, and then hang out near the end. Alright everyone, so today's structure is now complete after the speed build section, and I have to say it is looking less European and more Asian. I think it's just the amount of wood on it compared to everything else, and then also the fact that it doesn't look very structurally important. It looks more almost decorative, so therefore it is kind of really lending itself for that Asian feel, almost like a very like well, it's almost like a bathhouse kind of look to it, I would say. But I think overall it's still a nice structure. It adds some nice kind of roof height to the town, and it does have a nice little commanding area. Though it does have a little bit of a row home feel, just because it has kind of all these roof colors next to each other, and it's very compact in terms of just structure beside structure beside structure. And they don't have much of a garden area in comparison to, say, what a really rich merchant might have. But I think for the area that we have and the way the season is kind of winding down, we're just looking for filler buildings at this point. And I don't think any more row homes really make sense, except for maybe like along here just a little bit. But I do want to next episode design another kind of large manor home like structure to fit this section, as I feel like it breaks up the row homes rather nicely, because the row homes are pretty repetitive just by nature. I mean, they're supposed to be repetitive. It's not really a negative connotation that I'm describing it like that. I'm just saying it's just good kind of visual pop and difference compared to what we already have. No interior right now, as you know, I'm trying to actually kind of cut back on the lag a little bit, and the fact that our inventory space is so limited just due to us being in an alpha game. It's not really going to be the most stable. So it's leaving unfurnished for now. Maybe on the final episode we'll go back in and fill in all the details on all the buildings we haven't done so already. But I think at this point I want to try to keep my FPS higher, just so visually it really conveys to you guys. And then plus, I don't think the interior matters a whole lot to you guys, just because it doesn't really serve a functional purpose, as even if I were to hide the walls, I mean, really, what's there to see? The same beds as everywhere else, the same decorations as everywhere else, and it's just a little redundant at this point to sit there and worry about the interiors when I could worry about just the exterior and the overall look of the village, because I think that's the main selling point, and the main thing I enjoy building with you guys is the fact that I can make this shell of a building, and then potentially when I upload the save online, once we're done with the series, you can save these into your own blueprints and use these templates to decorate them how you want on the interior. I don't want you guys to be locked on to how I decorate the interior. Use these as like shells in your own builds. So I think that's kind of a good thing to shoot for in the long run. Anyways, I think that's going to do us for this episode of Stonehearth. I hope you enjoyed the little bit of the speed build and overview of the first manor home. We're going to have another one, as I said, just to kind of round it off. And then you guys did mention maybe putting the castle up here on the cliff side, just so it's a little bit more commanding. But then that kind of leaves a void down here, and I'm really running out of important buildings to put around the town, unless you guys can think of one. But we have all the professions covered already. We have a tavern. We're getting manor homes now, and regular housing, and barracks. So really, we're just winding down. I think that's just an inevitable kind of ending, if I can actually speak the English language here tonight. Anyways, that's going to do us. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you all enjoyed the episode, feel free to leave a like to let me know that you guys want to see more. It's what I use to measure all my series, because I feel like that like button is the easiest thing for you guys to use to give me direct feedback, whether you like it or not. Go ahead and leave a comment down below if you have any suggestions or comments on what to fix, change, and or add. And until then, I'll see you guys in the next episode of Stonehearth here.